Imagine a virus that, once it enters your nervous system, has an almost 100% fatality rate. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? If I asked which virus might behave that way, what would you say? Ebola, Marburg, perhaps smallpox? Well, you'd be mistaken. This is one of the deadliest pathogens known to science, yet it isn't locked away in some top-secret lab and is, in fact, fairly common. In today's episode, we'll explore exactly what rabies is, why it offers us so little chance of survival, and how we can still fight back against it. Rabies is a disease caused by a virus from the Lyssavirus genus, part of the Rabies family. Its primary reservoirs include various mammals, from dogs and cats to wild animals like foxes or bats. In humans, infection typically occurs after being bitten or when saliva from an infected animal comes into contact with a skin wound or mucous membrane. Crucially, the virus targets the nervous system, and once it reaches the brain, a race against time begins. Rabies is considered one of the most lethal infectious diseases in the world. Its case fatality rate, the percentage of people who die among those who develop full-blown symptoms, can approach nearly 100%. However, there is a vital point in practice. An effective vaccine and immunoglobulins can halt the disease if administered before symptoms appear. Once the virus manages to infiltrate the nervous system, the outlook is almost hopeless. Symptoms like hydrophobia, agitation, aggression, or paralysis all suggest that the virus has firmly taken hold in the brain, and modern medicine typically cannot save the patient at that stage. From the moment of a bite to the first noticeable symptoms, rabies operates with a deceptive timeline, ranging from a few weeks to several months. This delay depends on several factors: the location of the wound. Closer to the head means the virus can reach the brain faster. The depth of the wound, deeper injuries transfer more virus particles, and the overall strength of the immune system. Once symptoms appear, the disease takes one of two forms. Furious rabies, the more well-known type, is characterized by aggression, agitation, and hydrophobia, a fear of water caused by painful muscle spasms. Paralytic rabies, on the other hand, manifests as a gradual onset of weakness and paralysis. Regardless of the form, the virus ultimately causes irreversible damage to the central nervous system, leading to coma and, tragically, death. You might wonder, if rabies is this lethal, why don't we see global pandemics of it? The answer is that we have effective preventive measures. Anytime you're bitten by an unknown or potentially infected animal, you need to seek medical attention immediately to begin what's called post-exposure prophylaxis, a series of vaccines and, in some cases, immunoglobulins. While the virus remains on the outskirts of the nervous system, the immune system, boosted by vaccination, can still neutralize it before it reaches the brain. If someone waits too long and symptoms begin, there is virtually no effective treatment. From time to time, medical history has recorded instances of patients who survived despite showing symptoms. The most famous case is the so-called Milwaukee Protocol, named after the hospital in the United States where a young girl with rabies was placed into a medically induced coma and received intensive therapy. She managed to recover, although she was left with some neurological issues. That said, such cases are extremely rare and do not guarantee a cure. We're still dealing with a disease that remains nearly 100% fatal once it reaches the symptomatic stage. According to estimates from the World Health Organization, rabies claims tens of thousands of lives each year, primarily in Asia and Africa, where prophylaxis and access to vaccines are limited. In developed countries, the threat is lower due to established vaccination programs for domestic and wild animals, such as foxes in Europe. Rabies is an extraordinarily dangerous adversary. Once a Lyssavirus invades the nervous system, it practically leaves us no chance of survival. Fortunately, there are effective prevention methods, vaccines, and immunoglobulins that must be administered immediately after a bite. I encourage you to subscribe and share your thoughts below, and feel free to explore our other content to stay informed. Take care, and remember, prevention is key.